super chat. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Band-aids don't give you AIDS. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chat. Pay piggy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Pay piggy. Wage cock ain't no way to be alive. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Pay piggy. I want to feel like I am so alive. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to my 9 to 5. Pay piggy. I like that. Actually, that's okay. I'm kind of liking that. AIDS. It just ends with AIDS. Okay. Right there. Ooh, I like this. Pay piggy. Ooh, pay piggy. Just give me one more super chat. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Band-aids don't give you AIDS. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chat. Pay piggy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Pay piggy. Wage cock ain't no way to be alive. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Pay piggy. I want to feel like I am so alive. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to my 9 to 5. Pay piggy. I like that. Actually, that's okay. I'm kind of liking that. AIDS. It just ends with AIDS. Okay. Right there. Ooh, I like this. Pay piggy. Ooh, pay piggy. Just give me one more super chat. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Band-aids don't give you AIDS. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chance. Pay piggy. Just give me one more super chat. Pay piggy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Pay piggy. Wage cock ain't no way to be alive. Pay piggy. Pay piggy. Don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Pay piggy. I want to feel like I am so alive. Pay piggy.
What is this? What is he doing? I don't understand. What is this place? I don't understand what he's doing. Why is he doing this? What is this song? Does he think this is music? I am disturbed. I feel afraid right now. I feel uncomfortable. I feel untoward.
I love it when people don't understand what pay piggy is. Don't worry about it. Just give up, dude. Just give up. You'll never get it. Give up.
What is this? What is this? Oh my, what is this? What is this?
That breathy southern effeminacy, man. It's getting really hard to speak in all the codes. I can't even keep up with the codes anymore.
What is this? Oh my.
Oh, what's up, y'all? Welcome, everybody. It's fashion night. As you can see, I have fashions. I'm wearing fashions. But we have to look to the good people. We have to look to the beautiful people. We have to look to the elite to know what are the arts. What is a genius? Tonight we're going to be looking at what the NPC normie world thinks is art and what is genius. And for that domain, it's pretty much whatever you're told to think is. But we're also going to notice some interesting things about the art world, the money laundering aspect of the art world, which a lot of people don't know about. There is the esoteric mind control aspect of the art world. I mean, obviously to a degree, the music industry, the entertainment industry, they fall into that. Everybody knows about that. But what about the high fashion scene? I know the first thing y'all think when you think of me is high fashion. Gucci. You got your Prada. You got your Armani's. You got your Carhartts. You got your Jinkos. You got your what else? Massimo's. You got your No Fear shirts. You got your Ed Hardy gear. You got your Big Johnson t-shirts. When you think of that whole world of fashion, you think first of me and then also of modeling, male models, fashion. It's Fashion Week at Jay's Analysis. I have this Gap design. Gary Gap designed this for me. This actually came from London, believe it or not. Actually was in London when I spoke at the Milton Keynes. I always want to think of Maynard Keynes, Maynard Ferguson. I'm thinking of Milton Keynes, but I think of Maynard Ferguson because there was a dude in high school we used to make fun of that would wear Maynard Ferguson t-shirts. Anyway, but I remember I needed a coat, so we had to run over in downtown London. The only thing we could find that was open was Gap, and Gary Gap was in there himself, and he said, "I got a jacket just for you, baby." But what about Jinkos? What about Carhartts? What about Big Johnson t-shirts? Well, that's known as fashion. And by the way, I've never even known what Met Gala is. I know that we've actually covered this for years. Well, somehow we covered this for years, and I have no idea what this is. So if somebody said, you've talked about the symbolism of these ridiculous outfits, but what is it? I would be like, I don't actually know. It's a thing where you just put clothes on, walk around. And is that really, is there talent involved in this? I mean, basically it just looks like people just like putting garbage on, right? I'm literally like garbage and walking around. Is that really an art? I don't really think it is. And we're going to be looking at the destruction of the arts intentionally from the inside out, the subversion of the arts, which I know everybody kind of knows about this to a degree, especially if you've followed this channel, but we haven't really done a fun live stream looking at this. I did a video last year about how modern art was dumb, but we have abstract art, modern art. And then if you start talking about this, some douchebag who spent $100,000 to get a degree in this crap will always correct you. That's not modern art. That is abstract art. That is different from postmodernism. That is different from blah, 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 right? And they'll just go on and on and on. And it's like, I don't even care to see your face ever again. And when I was in college, that was when hipsters were like really becoming popular. And everybody in the art department were just insufferable, intolerable hipsters. And I would be over there critiquing these people. I would be over there debating these people, who of course are complete idiots, but because they would have all these art shows. The school I went to, the university I went to, had a kind of a decent art department, but it was staffed by all these quacks and weirdos. And then I had an ex-fiance, and her older sister did Vanderbilt art, and boy did I get to meet some freaks in that. And I remember thinking, like, who comes up with this stuff? Is like pure demonic, dude. I mean, like, really is straight up demonic. I don't know why this whole domain is just so infested with the demonic, but ultimately I guess I do know that because it comes back to subversion. And the arts are basically nothing but subversion. Now, everything is inverted for subversion, inversion for subversion, basically. So, first of all, what is this stupid thing? Let's find out. It's the party of the year.
Over the years, the gala has become a reflection
And
of changing culture, not to mention
it's a reflection of changing culture. I mean, actually, I think it does go back, right? Because there was an image of Cher. If I could turn back time, from like the 70s at this thing. So I didn't even know it goes back. It's a fundraiser. Yeah, I'm sure that money goes to where it's supposed to go, right?
arena for high fashion.
Who is that? That looks like a black version of the Giant from Twin Peaks. What is going on here?
Through the eyes of its curators, the Costume Institute's extraordinary holdings have evoked themes.
So it's just wearing
from
costumes.
historical periods to genres to individual design innovators.
Ooh, cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation. Appropriation. Report that. That's a cultural appropriation. By the way, I forgot about. I wanted to also call to mind. Remember that satanic fashion show? Did we already cover that? We kind of covered that, didn't we? But that's okay. I mean, like, this whole world of fashion has just become, it's like, I don't even know how to describe what all this stuff is. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, that's it. They held this in a church, of course, right? The giant all-seeing eye, pentagrams in the background. But of course, to these normie-controlled so-called Satanists, they think that this is like really edgy and avant-garde. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna get one over on the Christians by, like, when we perform this grand ritual inside the Episcopalian cathedral, we'll get these Christians. It's like, you realize that the Episcopalians are a bunch of Satanists. I mean, like, you're run by Satan. Like, the same people that run the Episcopalian church, the Church of England, are the same people that are your handlers, dummy. Did you not know that? Ooh, he was there. That guy and her and she and them. Ooh, the best people.
The bravura sartorial choices of the guests.
Could you imagine how, like, you know, these people are just like completely miserable? I mean, imagine, so you sold out to go to this thing, to wear the most ridiculous, like, you look like a clown. You're clowning yourself, right? You played yourself. You played yourself. But this is like the epitome of high society, right? That's where we're going in high society. So let's look at the history of some of the beautiful high fashion outfits that we've seen. Let's see, 42 weirdest. I think I wanted to pull that up. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Oh my gosh, did you see Rihanna? So Rihanna is like the Pope of her own church, basically. She's wearing the papal tiara, the papal outfit, the mitre, I should say. Heavenly bodies. And what's funny is that, I mean, how is this even edgy, right? They think this is edgy to do this. But it's not edgy when those quote denominations or sects like the Episcopalians that hosted the satanic fasting show, they're run by you. The same people that run and own you run those fake churches. So to be mocking the Pope, how is that edgy? I mean, it was kind of edgy when that crazy bald Sinead O'Connor, when she tore up the picture of the Pope, that was kind of edgy, but only because nobody had done that before. By the way, do you know she's like a traditional Catholic priest now who thinks that she can do the Latin Mass? I'm not joking, by the way. Do you guys remember that? And why did she do that? It was supposed to be like a statement. Ripped up a picture of the Pope for a state. Yeah. Now I guess she's a Muslim now. So she went from being a priest who said the Latin Mass. I'm not joking. She imagined that she was a priest who said the Latin Mass, and I guess she's a Muslim now, or a babushka. She converted to babushka. Okay, let's see. But I remember this being all over the news. I remember there was like a huge deal. It was like, whoa, edgy. Dr. Phil. Okay, let's see what she told Doc.
When you tore the Pope's...
Now, why did you tear up the picture of the Pope? And why did you cut your hair off?
up on Saturday Night Live, whose picture were you tearing up?
The Pope's.
I mean, what did the Pope represent to you?
Interestingly, what people don't know is that, first of all, we in Ireland knew 10 years before you all did about child abuse.
Oh, interesting. So now I kind of like her. So now she's based
In the Catholic Church.
WTF, now I like Sinead O'Connor. It's been 7 hours since you took your love away. I can do whatever I want. What's the line about the gardens dying? Since you've been gone, the flowers in the garden are dead.
We had evidence. The photo itself had been on my mother's bedroom wall all my life. I was genuinely very angry with what the church were doing. By ripping that picture, you know, I risked my career, everything. I could be a billionaire now if I wanted, if I believed in it, you know what I mean? But I don't. But I know what you're getting at, and yeah.
A billionaire? I don't know about that. I mean, she does kind of look like Steve Jobs, I guess, but I don't know.
Yes, this didn't occur to me until about 6 months ago. It's my father.
Do you like her chest tramp stamp? Okay, so now she's telling this story that she ripped up the picture of the Pope because it's her father, and it's so she's just basically a 70-year-old with teen angst. Okay, that's pretty lame. But I mean, if you were talking about, she should have just said because there's a bunch of mind controlled pedo, child trafficking stuff, and that's like, okay, then in that case, yeah, I get why you would rip up old John Paul's picture, but now I'm starting to not like it. Now I'm getting grossed out.
Did you know you were going to do it when you went on?
Mm-hmm. So I had planned it for a couple of weeks. At the very end, I pull out the picture of the Pope and tear it up. Silence.
Threw it at the camera.
Silence. Everywhere. It was fantastic.
So what happened afterwards?
My manager vanished for about 3 days. He went to his hotel, just unplugged the phone. About 10 years after that I don't remember, because that's when it became acceptable and it became the norm that I was treated by everyone I knew, from family to everyone, like I was an absolutely insane, crazy person.
Well, I mean, you did move on to being a traditional Catholic priest, saying the Latin Mass, which is pretty crazy given that traditional Catholicism doesn't believe in women priests. I'm not joking. That's true. And what denomination, what group of sedevacantists did she get amongst to where she thought that she could be a priest, right? There, see, I'm not joking. See that right there? 2002, she was still this proto-chav chick. By 2014, she was a traditional Catholic priest. And then by 2020, she was a Muslim. But I feel sorry for a lot of these Irish people. I feel like they were abused by Roman Catholicism, and now they're mad and lashing out, right? And that basically the whole country is just like destroying itself. Oh, here she is wearing. Let's see if we can watch any of this. I don't want to get the stupid thing dinged, but what would you?
Became a priest because I believe in the church, and I don't want the church to die. Because I believe in the power of prayer, the power of the spoken word, and because I believe in Christianity.
Now, when you were getting ordained as a traditional Catholic priest, did it ever occur to you that you don't have the right equipment to do that?
By the way, if you would hit like and share. I think I do a pretty good Dr. Phil. Come on now. And also, if you want to support the show, you can support via Super Chats. I'm going to go ahead and get ordained at the traditional Latin Mass chapel that Father Sinead O'Connor used to be the priest of. Could you imagine confessing your sins to Sinead O'Connor? I've got some confessions. I've been a bad girl. I've been a bad boy. Where was I at?
Can I confess to you? I'd like to confess my sins to you.
By the way, Dr. Phil's show is really entertaining if you've never watched it. But don't start watching it because you'll get addicted. Because it's basically a perfect mix of just madness, insanity, and his patented method of trying to solve insanity through whatever Dr. Phil does, talking to them about. One thing that he does is pretty cool is when he's dealing with crazy people, he'll just kind of ask them,
do you think that it is all possible? Is it even possible that maybe you aren't Jesus?
Right? And they'll be like, perhaps.
Okay, let's work from there.
Right. That actually does seem to work, right? If you watch the show some, you'll notice that when he starts asking them if it's even possible, then he starts to have some inroads to getting people to maybe coming back to sanity. But, I mean, delusion is a powerful drug.
Delusion, a hell of a drug.
And that's what pretty much everybody's on, especially all of these so-called elites, right? All these celebrities. I mean, they're sniffing their own toot gas, basically, right? We all know that. But why are they so intent on, well, is narcissism? Okay, yeah. But there's something else going on. And that something else that's going on that we have talked about for so long, that was so controversial and so, oh, that's just so stupid. They're not into the occult. They're not into, and then now that it's coming out, now it's like, okay, but it's not, it's just for shock and awe. And by the way, it's not that bad, right? Drinking blood, not that bad. It's just shock and awe. And they don't really do it, except that they kind of do it, but not really. But that's not enough to explain what's really going on. And it's not just enough to say, oh, there's illuminate, confirm. No. There is a strategy and a technique to subversion. And this is what most people don't understand. That's why we are getting more and more popular, is that we actually have the best analysis of this beyond just the kind of low IQ, illuminate, confirm, right? All seeing eye everywhere. There's more to it than that, because it's a strategy, a technique of subversion that's part of psychological warfare. And you can destroy cultures from within. Think of, this is something everybody knows about. Everybody knows about the Opium War. By the way, I'm going to cover Dope Inc. pretty soon. What is the Opium War? That everybody knows that the British Empire imported a drug to destroy a culture, to destroy China, as a form of warfare. And why is that so powerful? Well, the more people that you can addict to this, the more, not only are you making profits, but you can also erode a society with vices. And this is something that libertarians and people on the left just cannot figure this out. They cannot, it's beyond them to figure out that there's more to a social order than free enterprise in the market. Okay, you can degrade through toxic culture a society. And everybody's kind of seeing that that's what's going on, right? They can see that this is happening. But people can't put two and two together to figure out that it's also intentional. Now, a lot of these goobers here that you see on the screen and these celebrities, I mean, these are just mind bombed. Like they're like king and queen of the NPC realm. A lot of these people are themselves mind bombed and out of it and have no idea what's going on. I mean, you hear them talk. I mean, these people don't know what's going on, right? And one thing that we started to notice, I know you guys, this audience has totally noticed it, is that even amongst high-level, powerful people, quite a few of them still can't put the big picture together. They can't really figure out what they might know a little bit, right? Remember what we were talking about with Boomer Garcia, right? He could figure out that, oh, the evil corporations, dude, they want to make a buck, man. And, they had JFK killed and they suppressed the alien info. It was alien info, right? But that's like as far as he'll go. And then you'll hear high-level people, high A-list people, like they'll catch on to something every now and then, but they never catch on to the big picture. And then I started realizing, the more that I studied this stuff, the people that really understand the big picture, I mean, it's not exactly like this now because a lot of people are figuring this stuff out. So a lot of you, especially in this audience, there's really smart people in this audience because we got a lot of PhDs. We got a lot of, high educated individuals out there, education people. But it used to and still to a degree, you kind of have to get up to like the Brzezinski Kissinger level before there's knowledge of what's really going on. I mean like full spectrum knowledge, right? Understanding what the plan is with entertainment, what the plan is with diet, what the plan is with social organization, what the plan is with education, with religion, with blackmail, black markets, co-opting, how wars are planned, how mass media strategy for subversion, destruction. Hollywood as a role in this, the music industry. I mean, not many people figure out the big picture until you get to that level. And then people who figure all this out, they kind of get to a point where it's like, well, I guess I can either go along with this or like they're blown away, right? Like, whoa, this is really going on. So when you see these goofuses, I mean, these people are like, the celebrities are like puppets, right? Like on a puppet string. And they're just used by higher level people. And if you play along with this, you know, you can have some of the fiat money. Okay, so we'll give you some of the fake ass fiat money if you play along with all this degeneracy. Because this has a crucial role in breaking down the culture. And how was this learned? Well, it was all learned in the Cold War. Because pop art, Jackson Pollock, Andy Warhol, Congress for Cultural Freedom, those were all entities that were funded heavily by the CIA for the purpose of winning the Cold War through the arts and letters. And that's why they would hire postmodernists, they would hire deconstructionists. They went to France and they would hire people to promote certain ideas during the Cold War, particularly postmodernists, deconstructionists, Derrida. These people literally all had CIA connections because the Congress for Cultural Freedom wanted to promote not just all of the arts and the control of the arts and what the arts are, what they represent, but also a technique to combat Sovietism, Cosmism, realism from Soviet so-called art, which is its own weird acid trip of its own, right? Let's see if we can find some of that. But it was also to begin to inculcate the idea of pure relativism. And the best way to do this is not necessarily, I mean, cultural degradation contributes to that, but the arts are a perfect vehicle for relativism because they could sell the emotivism that there's no such thing as beauty, there's no such thing as aesthetics or any objective standards in aesthetics. So therefore, don't you see, everything is purely subjective and it's just tastes. So if you don't like Jared Leto as a vampire Santa with his own head, you're a bigot, right? Because there's no such thing as beauty. There's no such thing as standards. And so this kind of art, you have to understand, is actually seen as warfare. And the Satanists call it aesthetic, terrorism. And it's not a joke. It's a real thing. They think that it's a way to wage spiritual warfare because when you promote the ugly, it's seen as part of the dialectic, right? So you're just on one side of the dialectic of good and evil, beauty, ugly, normality, deformation, right? You're just part of the process of the whole. And so to do actions like this by these people, and especially a lot of these Hollywood lunatics who are part of cults, literally. I mean, I think Jared Leto's like trying to start his own cult, isn't he? I mean, toxic culture is basically viewed by these people as a ritual working that enacts the subversion that you think is part of your revolution. You think you're part of the edgy, just like in the French Revolution, just like with Saint Simon, Saint Just. Shout out to Tristan, by the way, because in his stream where he was covering Billington's Fire in the Minds of Men, I'd forgotten about the fact that it was actually the journalists in the French Revolution that were really pioneers of social justice. And they would use journalism. They were the new ethicists, right? Dictating morality to everybody. And they would get fellow revolutionaries killed, get their head chopped off, like your boy Larigito right here. and they would do it because they would do exposés, exposed, right? Because if you weren't revolutionary enough, you had to be exposed. Exact parallel to the blue check mark social justice warriors of today. Exactly what they did in the revolution. And I had forgotten about that. We actually covered that in my French Revolution classes, as I went pretty deep on that in grad school. And so shout out to Tristan, because he brought that back to my memory when he was covering Fire in the Minds of Men. It's no different than French Revolution. And by the way, the Bolsheviks did the exact same thing, because they were a continuation of the Jacobins, who were the Illuminati, right? The Jacobin Illuminists thought that if they could destroy all society, they become agents of chaos, agents of destruction, and aesthetic terrorism as part of this ritual working, then they contribute to the rebirth of the new society, the phoenix from the ashes. And so that's why a lot of the satanic cults, a lot of the Hermeticists, they have a cyclical view of history where they just believe that this is all necessary. So I'm just telling you, that's their justification, right? That's why they think they're part of, the great work, is that to tear down the existing order is just part of the work that's necessary to erect the new society. And that's exactly what the Frankfurt School people said, by the way. I studied under people from the Frankfurt School, so I know it very well. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody in the Frankfurt School is an illuminist. Again, you can get different situations with different people. I mean, a lot of these people are just hedonistic, degenerate atheists. They don't know anything. But sometimes they do know stuff, right? I mean, what the heck? This kind of seems to hint at, like, that's cultural appropriation and like having slaves. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, how do you? But I mean, the Hollywood people, they'll like have all this kind of stuff going on all the time, right? I'm saying, what am I trying to say without flagging the freaking algorithm? Can't even talk. Like, they will treat and signify that they own people and have modern day slaves, and they can get away with it, right? Because they're liberal, so-called, right? I mean, what is this stuff? Look at this. By the way, I think if you've done acid too, a lot of this stuff is just like, anytime somebody does acid, they think anything is genius and gorgeous and amazing and philosophy, right? I was tripping acid, dude. Like, I was watching some videos of people that had done acid for the first time, and they were like, man, when we came out of that convenience store, like, when we looked at the wrappers, and like the wrappers around the candy were just sparkling in the sunlight, and it's the most beautiful thing ever. You think everything is beautiful, even nothing. Like, even trash is beautiful, right? And that's what these people think. Like, they're mind bombed. They're always talking, by the way, about tripping acid and doing drugs, which, by the way, don't actually give you all of these great creative insights that they think they're getting. If I do acid and like put on like a dress or whatever, right? Like, it's genius, dude. Who is this dude? Now, this is actually alchemy, right? This is a reference to the hermaphrodite in the alchemical tradition. I'm not joking about that. That's what this is intended to be. But who the heck is this dude? Oh, so edgy. But you know what's weird about this stuff? It hasn't changed since remember in like 2006, 7, 8, when people really started online doing illuminate, confirm type stuff, analysis, and you would watch the VMAs, you would watch the all these dumb award shows, right? The Super Bowl halftime show, and then you deconstruct it, right? Well, back when everybody started doing that and watching this stuff, like, have you noticed that none of it has really changed? It's not any different than the stupid crap from 10 years ago. It's all just regurgitating kind of the same grasping for edginess, weirdness. And it's weirdness for the sake of weird, which is not weird. Like, remember in high school, weird people were authentically weird. Like, that dude is weird. Like Nathan over there, right? That there was a Nathan that I went to high school with who was a master of anime back in the 90s before anybody knew about anime, right? And like a trench coat kind of dude. And he, everywhere he would go, he would like do the like like how if you've watched Malcolm in the Middle, you know how they make fun of like the Spurg kids, Dewey's class, right? The special kids. Like, I went to high school with dudes that did that did the, like, anytime they were going anywhere from like one class, from the lunchroom to the classroom, they were on like an imaginary moped. I mean, I've really been around people like that. I'm sure everybody has been around the authentically weird dude, but that's authentically weird. This is not authentic. This is just Hollywood celebrity garbage people trying to get attention. And who are these people anyway? I've never heard of these people. You know what this reminds? By the way, it's almost kind of prophetic. I mean, I'm sure this stupid thing has always been weird, but it reminds me of the way that Chris Tucker acted in Fifth Element. Remember that? It's like a cross between Prince and RuPaul. I remember when that came out, and I went to see Fifth Element in a theater, and I remember thinking, man, that's a dystopian future. But here we are, right? Like, entertainment. And if you notice, do you remember that he's live streaming? What's he called? Ruby Rod. He's live streaming, which is kind of weird. Like, did they know in the 90s that we would be live streaming in the year 2020?
It's a great honor to be on his talk show. He's so great.
Yes, I'm sure you're very excited, but I'm on my vacation. I don't want to be bothered. I prefer to remain anonymous.
I mean, this feels like what YouTube is. I mean, it feels like big YouTube channels that are just like this. And I mean, I know that RuPaul had he was on MTV already in the 90s, but isn't it just weird that so he's live streaming this, whatever this is, this ridiculous show. But I can't think of the right word. I'm struggling with the words because of the algorithm, but you know what I mean.
Right on, and he's got something to say.
I gotta stop it because the music will flag it, but I'm trying to find the part where it seems like at one point it shows that he's live streaming, which is crazy. But anyway, you get the idea. By the way, so everybody's always asking about Madonna. Like, how does Madonna look so young? Well, first of all, she doesn't look young. She looks gross. But I got to have dinner one time with somebody who was her security guard. And he explained this mystery, by the way. So if you want to know, I'll tell you a little inside of Hollywood secrets. We're going to make you a big star. That's a character I should bring back. Jay Weinstein, we're gonna make you a star. But he told us how this actually goes down. So people were like, it's a clone, dude. Madonna's a clone. She's been cloned. It's like the dumbest conspiracy ever, right? No, you know what it is? It's a mask. She pays all this money for this like super secret mask that when she does anything on camera, it's like this mask that stretches. And then when she takes it off, which she makes sure that nobody ever like takes a picture of her, she looks like everybody else's grandma, right? But that's how she does that. That's why she doesn't look like she's aged. So, big secret revealed. I'm sure all these other nasty skanks do the same thing, like Cher and all these people. So, there you go. They're the weirdest. Actually, just not even that. It's just like people trying to get attention and be edgy. Who is Solange? Ugh. She looks like the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast. But I mean, this stuff isn't even that edgy compared to what went on at that one church, if you remember that. Oh, I remember that one. Is that Katy Perry? Yeah. And that was the same year, I think, that 2017. And then Jared Leto has vestments on. It's like, did they not understand that when they're mocking like a giant PEDO operation, it's not edgy. It's that's what runs the Catholic Church. Like more Catholic imagery, right? Madonna like a virgin. Anyway, you get the idea. That's enough of that. That's all stupid. But another thing to remember too. Remember this girl who got famous? Why does she get famous? Well, because she's in the tradition of these CIA artists. And Lady Gaga made her famous by talking about how much she loved this chick. It's like a cleanse for your body and mind. Vomit painter throws up on a canvas to create Jackson Pollock love style splatter paintings that Lady Gaga loves. So, like, this is the state of the art world. I like how they zoomed in. Like we didn't have an idea what was going on from these. So please zoom in so I can know for sure what's going on here. So you think, oh, this is just so stupid, it's so dumb. No, it's not. This has an intent, which is to subvert. Now, this chick probably doesn't even know that this is subversive, right? She's just an idiot who's playing off of this, right? But they don't know that the arts are subversive. That looks like a booty right there. People trying to sneak booties into their artwork. That's a jackalope. I kind of like jackalope though. But I think that this kind of stuff, right? Abstract. There's two things going on here. Sometimes abstract can be interesting if people are, I don't know, doing something like this, right? And getting into a higher conceptual level of the art. Okay, maybe I can get that or something like that. That's not too bad. But most of the time, this is just a vehicle for talentless people who can talk a good game. Like, that's pretty cool, right? It's like a boring ass fruit painting turning into Lisa Frank on acid. That's not bad. But most of the time, again, this is like talentless people. And one thing I've noticed too, if you go into the city and if you get into the art district Now, I've done this multiple times in Nashville. Like, you go down to the art district, and there's two different areas of this now in Nashville where there's like really people selling their wares and just the art crowd, which is intolerable, like unbearable people. It's now become a complete church for social justice, if that makes sense. Look at that bitch. That bitch, like, right? That's what the chicks down, the art hoes down in the art district, that's what they look like. They look like that. And that's not abstract art. That's like the real, that's like the chick selling the abstract art looks like that, right? But, I mean, I can't even say on YouTube what I saw in the art district last time I went down there to the art district. You walk down there, you got your art hole. I'm talking about down there with your dark arts, boy. But this was intended to signify dissolution and the breaking down of order. So remember, if you think about classic medieval aesthetic theory, you got to have beauty, symmetry, harmony, form, order. All of those things are constituent elements of what makes up good art. And yeah, you can have themes that display wickedness, evil, these kinds of things to tell a story, right? I might put the devil in a painting being destroyed by, Michael the Archangel or something like that, right? So it's not always wrong to paint or to have elements of the extreme or the demonic or the grotesque or whatever. I mean, done in the right way, done in a tasteful way, right? But the job of modern art was intentionally to declare war on beauty, form, symmetry, harmony, order, the things that are necessary for aesthetics. And by the way, shocker, there are objective beauty standards. Do you understand that FAT, acceptance, for example, all of that is part of subversion to attack the idea that there actually are objective aesthetics and standards. Do you understand that? And of all people, actually, there's a really good essay on this by Ayn Rand. She has an essay on Aristotelian theory of art, which is good because she's just basically restating the fact that the goal of a lot of this was to basically make good art be synonymous with emotivism, right? Feeling. So if you feel XYZ from looking at that painting, somehow that translates into it being, quote, good. But it's totally purely subjective and retarded. It's self-refuting. Why would that be good if it's purely subjective? By that line of reasoning, the opposite is also, quote, good, right? There is no good or evil. So it's self-refuting because good is synonymous with subjectivism. Well, why should I accept that the good is synonymous with objectivism? So you get a presuppositional critique of the presuppositions of subjectivist aesthetic theory. I remember this old hag that taught my aesthetics class. Okay, I had a aesthetics class in undergrad, which was part of the philosophy degree department, right? And I remember it was one day she brought in like BDS McArches, if that makes sense, artwork. Actually, that sounds funny. BDS McDonald's, like that probably does exist, right? It would be some weird edgy thing. And she was like showing this to the class, and it was like, oh, this is so edgy, it's so dark. I'm like, this is disgusting. I actually left class that day. I was like, I'm out of here later. I didn't pay thousands of dollars to get an education looking at that one dude from the Village People. Does that make sense? Like that's not why I'm at university. And that was like 2005, dude. I can't imagine what it's like now. It's probably the whole department. Like you probably have to dress up like that one dude from the Village People, you know, to graduate or whatever. I don't even know. I would never go back to university. What the heck? More vomit art, dude. It's a skull. A disembodied skull. Looked like he just went to well, he just ate 100 peeps. Right. I put out the peep challenge on Twitter. Would you eat 100 peeps for $100,000? And somebody said, for $100,000, could we get rid of all peeps? I thought I like that one. But you'll notice that with this kind of art, like weird modern art, it's dominated by things that are usually not just grotesque, but demonic. And I've been talking about this for a while. Like the theme of the demonic is so prevalent in this kind of artwork that it's hard to really discount. Like it's difficult without admitting that maybe a lot of these people are under the influence of evil spirits, perhaps. Because remember, in the art crowd, everybody's tripping balls. Everybody's trying to get inspiration, bro, from mushrooms. I'm tripping, I have to get inspiration. And then they're just destroying themselves to get inspiration. And every time you are doing your artwork, you're kind of like trying to up the bar to be unique for unique's sake and to be edgier for edginess sake. But when the culture is completely degraded, there's nothing else edgy. Like there's nowhere else to go other than into the most profane and disgusting things that you can't even mention. And that's where it's going. Like Damien Hirst is like tame now, right? Like, you have a severed horse corpse in urine. Well, I do that, but in performance art, I actually eat the horse, right? Like the bar has to keep being lowered. You have to up the ante. And so that's what the art world is. It's crazy, dude. And it's been this way for a long time. It's bizarre to me that people can't figure out that it's not just demonic, but it's also intentionally cultural subversion. That's why it keeps going too, right? By the way, you can support the show by the super chat function. That's why a lot of times we focus on good art, right? If you haven't seen the interview that I did with Father Vladimir, that was great because we went into the positive aspects of not just Renaissance and neoclassical art, but St. Petersburg itself, right? The amazing architectural and aesthetic achievements of St. Petersburg. And it was like a class basically on the aesthetics of St. Petersburg, right? Compare that lecture to this. I mean, what in the world? I like this one.
That's my telephone. The spirits are calling. That's the only phone I would pick up when the ghost of my father calls. You answer the lobster phone. And when I pick up, I say, no, no, no.
If that phone rings, you know it's going to be Jordan Peterson on the other line, right? That's the direct line to JBP right there. Young guys, if you haven't kissed a girl yet, you learn to kiss. Look right here. So teach you how to kiss. Do that. It's basically what it is to kiss. And then we got a lot of young guys out there. This what you do with your bubble gum right here. What? It's hard to even make fun of this artwork because I have to say though, this stuff is a little better than the abstract art. I mean, at least there's some form to this. And I do like fantasy and or surrealist type stuff. That stuff I can do, because some of this is surrealist. I could go with that. You know, I like some your boy. I just went blank. I don't like Man Ray. That dude is a creep to the max, but creep 5000. But what's his name? I don't know. I just went blank. This dude, this dude's neighborhood peeper, trying to get him some of that milk. I feel like the only way to properly do this would be in a Theo Von. Like, what would Theo Von say about this? All right, there, that's your boy. That's your boy Darren, and remind me of a dude in my neighborhood growing up. Darren liked to. He'd go around. He kind of look in the windows, but the only thing he was doing, well, he was just looking for milk. Darren had a thing, just to drink milk, and he had a sipping jug of milk he would carry with him. But sometimes if Darren couldn't get milk, he would just kind of walk around and have a little hose. He kind of carry a little hose in a pouch. He had a little leather pouch, and he could put that hose over there in a anybody kitchen and siphon him off some milk. So if we didn't look out, your boy Darren would be over there. He'd be over there with a siphoning out of everybody jug of milk, and he would have a little pouch, kind of like with a rigged up with a gasket. And he could siphon out everybody milk. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's the only way to analyze this art, right? But you will notice, actually, in a lot of the surrealist art, you will notice quite a bit of esoteric themes that seep in, because I think a lot of people are, you know, getting into the occult. They're getting into this kind of stuff. A lot of them because they think it will help their artwork, right? It'll help further their art career or their inspiration. They'll get, oh, it's inspired. I was reading Crowley, inspired. Oh, and then it just actually degenerates their art, right? That right there is a retorted minion. That is probably a statement about meat. You see what I'm saying, right? You see where we're going. You see what I'm getting at, right? A lot of this art too will be focused on the body, against the body, and bodily functions, which is bizarre. And I think that this probably might be a scam. I don't know, but remember that guy who had the blank canvas? That was pretty funny. Is that the one where the creatures are cut up, or is that just a fish? Look at that thing. What is that? That looks like something. It seems like it's, I don't know. It reminds me of something, but I can't figure out what it is. Interesting. Again, bodily functions. Tooting bull. By the way, I think the body stuff, now remember, so when I was telling you all the story of my ex, whose sister was a Vanderbilt art grad school person, like she had to do this huge project, and the project was something to do with the body, right? Oh, the women's bodies. Whoa, edgy, right? Women's bodies. Do we have them? Or did men tell us we have bodies, right? And so she did the womb. Ooh, the womb. And her work was a giant womb that you walked into. And when you walk into the womb, it's like an enclosed, it looked like basically like the Unabomber's cabin, right? I'm not joking. Like, it was the size of the Unabomber's cabin. Kind of had the aesthetic of the Unabomber's cabin. But when you walk into the womb, It was all nails on the inside, like an inch apart, like nails. And that was so deep, dude. Nails inside of a cabin representing a womb. Women's bodies. And I was like, dude, this is demonic. Because it doesn't even... And then I realized listening to her, because her art professor came over to dinner one time, and we were all sitting there eating. And I was listening to this conversation. And at the art show, and I've been to a bunch of art shows too, where I had another buddy who got a degree in art, and he had to do a senior show and, you know, do the exhibit. And everybody comes to your show, right? And you have to talk about the art, and oh, it's so deep. It's so deep. It's like that character. Do you remember the character in, is it Dinner with the Schmucks? With Steve Carell and Jermaine plays an art dude. It's like that. That's a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. And I realized this is just a bullshit artistry thing. Like, you just put some piece of junk out there, and then whoever has like the best con man sales story about it, right? That's all it is. And the weird thing is that some of these people are talented, right? It's not like everybody's has no talent. I mean, you know, some of these things could be cool things, but a lot of it is not that cool. And then you just have to come up with some deep sounding sales pitch. And now the whole domain of all this is just purely women's bodies and social justice, right? I even heard there was a dude in the Discord. We were at a party, and he's I forget his name, but he's converting to Orthodoxy as a biblical archaeologist. And I couldn't believe this, but I can. He said that now archaeology, there's woke archaeology. Don't even ask me how that's supposed to make sense, or what that is, or what does that mean? I mean, yeah. So just remember, main point of all this, remember, as crazy as it seems, there is a dark logic to it. That's your dark arts there, boy. That's your dark arts, gang, right? What is the method to this madness? It's subversion. And that does not mean that everybody involved in this is conscious of that. Like, all this stuff is like NPC, normie, social justice domain. And the art world, for whatever reason, is the worst about that. Like, they're the most... like anybody, if you meet somebody that says I live in an art collective, run. Don't have anything to do with somebody who lives in an art collective. And it reminds me, which we have covered pretty recently too, by the way, of serial killers. You say, what? What that got to do with serial killing? Well, have you looked at serial killer art? And are you aware that most of the serial killers do art all the time? And then they make bank selling their art? Did you know that? You should go listen, by the way, to all of my serial killer podcasts because they're very enlightening. I can't understand why nobody has really gotten into that. Like, the people that haven't figured out, because it's not just true crime. Do you understand that the serial killer stuff really fits in big time with all the stuff I talk about? Because, not just because of the Dave McGowan thesis, but because, I mean, a lot of these serial killers, for example, talk about being possessed. Not just to try to get off and, oh, it wasn't my fault. The devil made me do it. No, a lot of these people actually are possessed, right? And this is the trucker guy. the trucker killer. Remember him? I'd never heard of this guy until I watched a little documentary on him. He's one of these serial killers I'd never even heard of. But he would do this artwork before he went and did his things where he did people like this. By the way, if you look at Man Ray's art, that's why a lot of people think he had to have something to do probably with the Black Dahlia, because what happened with the people in the Black Dahlia case ended up looking just like the Man Ray art. Now, again, that's not my thesis. It's a whole bunch of people's thesis, but I mean, it's pretty creepy when you look, and of course, yeah, they want it to be creepy. I think that's BTK, maybe. But a lot of times they will sort of immortalize their art or their style of killing into their art. And they're not pulling up good options. Usually I get really good options on this, but this is not actually giving me what I'm looking for. I don't want to see idiot trench coat wearing dudes sketches of the serial killer. I want to see their art, not the art of some lame ass dude lives in a trailer park sketching serial killers. That I do recognize that zombie. That is Henry Lee Lucas, and that's probably John Wayne Gacy, obviously. But remember too, we analyzed this with Kevorkian, and Dr. Kevorkian. He is a serial killer, right? He's not classed amongst the serial killers because he was a legal serial killer, but he was a serial killer. And you'll know, by the way, they put the satanic in their art often as well. I don't recognize that cross, so let's see who that is. Or is this not going to tell us? No, it doesn't tell us. So I guess Chucky, and that seems like something Richard Ramirez would draw. Chucky, like the kind of dude in high school that would wear like a Taz shirt. That's the kind of dude that would be over there sketching Chucky in art class, right? There were some weird dudes in high school like that, right? Like not just the dude that drove a invisible motorcycle everywhere in high school. Like that's the kind of dude into anime. Like the future Columbine boy is over there sketching Chucky, right? Your boy Dickie Ramirez. But remember, he was also an avowed Satanist, and there is a connection to the Phoenix program with his relative who, I think it was his cousin or his uncle that raised him. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, so in the case of Kevorkian, pretty clear, and I don't know if this is true, I've never gotten deep into his life, but not only did he seem to have been a committed Satanist, but he also appears to have been into hallucinogens. And a lot of these guys, including BTK, are clearly doing or have done hallucinogens as well. And you can tell when psychedelic art usually leaves its own kind of imprint, right? Different drugs kind of evoke different styles. This isn't really showing his letters that he does in prison is really trippy. He'll draw these really trippy fish. And then sometimes he'll put like little mushrooms and stuff in there. He includes a lot of hermetic and alchemical stuff as well. Like the four corners of the world, the ether, fire, this kind of stuff. And he claims to have been he says that there's two spirits that possess him. There's Factor X is one of the spirits. But they all talk about this pretty frequently, right? There's more of his sort of psychedelic stuff. Trippy birds. But you get the idea. But that documentary that I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen showed that, in fact, the art world is not just where your degenerate art host sister went to try to be cool. It's also a domain of of money laundering and covers for stuff. And this is becoming more and more well known in mainstream. I met a woman, I don't remember her name, but she liked my book, and she was, oh, you got to hear about the art world. And I used to be involved in the high end art world, and she was like, all the people I knew believed in forms of animism, shamanism, and voodoo, and they believed that their art was a spell, right? And she said, and then on top of that, it's all a bunch of like money laundering and all that too, right? And there's a lot of information. There's a documentary, as I said, on this, but this article notes that Globe and Mail reported that some of the cases are very straightforward. In fact, let's suppose somebody has $10 million. They could buy a Picasso at an auction in Geneva and have the painting immediately moved to a storage at a Freeport or a high-security storage space near the airport. The painting could then be anonymously sold without ever moving an inch, and then the new buyer would have it retrieved from the same Freeport. Suddenly, the original buyer turned seller has money from what is considered a legitimate business deal. The Economist estimated in 2013 that Geneva Freeport might hold $100 billion worth of U.S. art sitting tucked away in a space that also functions as a tax haven. So, again, one of the many ways in which the lower and middle class people, especially upper middle class people, are not actually able to move up, because people in the hundreds of millions and billions have ways to bypass the tax laws. Did you not know that? That's a giant scam. And it's that way on purpose, you see. False shipping invoices will come up where contents of the shipment are worth $100 million. Really, this was just a way to sell a painting, but the painting was being sold for the purpose of money laundering. ISIS has been noted for the... Oh, come on. Now, the normies that wrote this don't realize that this organization is a cutout. So, yeah, I mean... Yeah, did they also get their Toyotas and their Nikes because they're such savvy businessmen, right? Much of the area that ISIS controlled was taken over by government-backed forces. They're involved in money laundering. Whoa, shocker. 2017, Wall Street Journal published a long feature noting about how ISIS turns these artifacts into a profit. Duh. That's because they're a cutout, dude. I mean, imagine believing that taking things at face value. I mean, could you imagine being in that mindset? I mean, that's the people who watch the Met Gala, like, unironically, right? The people that take stuff at face value. Do you remember, too, in True Lies? In True Lies, art, is it museums or art? It's museums in True Lies, but in Beverly Hills Cop 2, the art world is a cover for black market stuff. Thank you, Eddie Murphy. Exactly. I think I covered that in my my Buddy Cop podcast that we did. I forgot about that. But you know what? Nobody ever talks about the museum world being a cover for stuff. I bet you a lot more goes on in the world of museums than you think. Right? I don't trust the Smithsonian and none of that stuff. But yeah, even normies have picked up on the art world being fake and gray. Right? No shocker there. But by the way, if you've forgotten, if you aren't aware, no, I'm very correct that Dr. Kevorkian's art is also clearly satanic. But we can go buy his beautiful artworks if you so choose. And he's also obsessed with the body and sort of like taking it apart, as many of the serial killers are. And you'll notice like when he paints people going to hell, like this dude, and he paints chomping on your buddy, right? And according to him, Charlie Chaplin is behind this fascist takeover of America, stopping him from eating people, right? So it's like, oh, I'm so oppressed. I can't eat people and kill whoever I want, right? It's because Christianity is holding me back, dude. Yeah, it's holding you back. This is what you're being held back from, right? Hell world, right? Pinhead world. We have such sights to show you. I mean, no, surely. There's no way Dr. Kevorkian is possessed. There's just no way. I mean, this is his own artwork, right? Like, he painted himself this way. And here you can see, yeah, he was clearly doing some high-powered hallucinogens, right? I don't even know, like, his story. I just remember, you know, in the 90s, it was a huge deal that Dr. Kevorkian... Here you can see another one of his sort of abstract psychedelic stuff. I mean, clearly this dude's tripping, right? Tripping balls. I can't see what that says. I am something. But yeah, serial killers are artists. And I think you can tell quite a bit from people's artwork. Because people do paint what they oftentimes were traumatized by. Right? I mean, clearly Kevorkian is painting the demons, right, that he's possessed by. I mean, that's my thesis. I mean, just look at this stuff. It's horrendous. That is super psychedelic right there. All right. What was I doing with this? Trying to remember what I was doing. Oh, yeah. So, this is interesting. A jacket from 2018. Shout out to Isaac. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Interesting. I can't see where it says that. But that is interesting. Don't forget the fashion show that we saw in that church. Oh, so edgy. Look at that. That's vestments again, the stole. And then you can see kind of a faint square and compass, but one of the pictures shows at this, here, look at that. There you go. London Fashion Week at an Anglican church. Yeah, you see the, it's not actually, it's the all-seeing eye, but then the Star of David, which is actually the Star of Rimfen in Scripture, which is a human sacrifice symbol, according to Acts. And then, I thought it had a pentagram, but maybe it doesn't. But yeah, it does have Jachin and Boaz, right? So, like, the Satanists think this is so edgy that they're doing this in the churches, right? Like, oh yeah, we get but it's like, that's not even a church, dude. Like, you're trying to do edgy stuff to defile the church in a place that's already defiled. Like, it's not doing anything, dude. Come on. Yeah, here we go. But that's the low level stuff, right? That's not the real stuff. But yeah, everybody forgets about this. That, when was this? 2-3 years ago? You wouldn't think about fashion being a conduit for this, but London Fashion Week held in a church. Satanic aspect was not acceptable. Like they care. There you go. See the background there. It does look like a kind of a square and compass, but I can't really make it out. Imagine believing that's a church, right? Like this, the Church of England. Give me a break. Yeah, I don't need to see all seeing eyes for an hour. Yeah, I know. I don't even, who are even these pop stars anymore? Like, I don't even know who these, look at this. I mean, this is like, this society is over, dude. Like, it's done, man. This society's over, dude. It's done, man. Can you, let's see, hit like and share, by the way, if you want to support the show. You can also support via Super Chats by the Super Chat function. Is that Michael Jordan crying? That actually looks like Michael Jordan, like for real. Like that is Michael Jordan. I don't know who those other people are, but anyway, you guys get the idea. That's enough of that. But I mean, again, now this is so prevalent that is it even edgy, really? I mean, is any of this even edgy now that we have? I mean, when you talked about this in 2005, 6, 7, and the pop stars were doing this, they first started doing this kind of stuff. It's like, what? Whoa. And everybody would call you crazy, right? Because I was talking about it back then. But now the satanic themes have become so prevalent in the culture, and they're everywhere, and no one can deny it. Now it's not a big deal, and it's actually a good thing. You see, there's always that same pattern. It doesn't exist, gaslighting. Then comes, it exists, but it's not that big of a deal, and it's not bad. And then, oh, it's actually a good thing, and why are you against it, bigot? Has everybody seen through this gaslighting BS they do every single time? And it seems like more and more it's becoming like the transhumanist stuff. Is that Eminem? What? Oh, man. Demi Lovato got a Black Widow tattooed on her head. Oh my gosh. So I mean, it's like, oh, we're all part of the club. Well, we're inside an inner clique of the beautiful people, but look, is it really the beautiful people? Because look at this chick now compared to what she looked like 10 years ago, right? Let's see. Global citizen, what is that? So now she's a channeler for aliens, right? She has a show on Gaia about aliens. Shocker. Gaia talking about aliens? She channels aliens. I'm trying to find what she looked like 10 years ago. Let's see. So now she looks like this, which is what everybody's being turned into, this thing, right? They want to turn everybody into this thing. Let's see what she looked like. Let's see, 2008. Normal, cute chick, right? So why is Disney bad? Because normal, cute chicks turn into goblins, dude, who are channeling aliens. whoa, dude. Who's that fat Mexican comedian dude? Carlos Mencia. So she went from like normal, cute college girl to Carlos Mencia, right? Yo, everything I do is like everybody else's routine, but then it's Mexican. Right, remember him? I was almost going to do do you guys remember the stream I did where I was making fun of women comedians? And it got flagged and just decimated for playing stupid clips of women comedians. And do you remember the test was, let's see if we can make it through any of the top women comedian clips without chocolate, vagina, my mom, period, boyfriend, dogs. And none of them. There was not a single one who didn't do the same routine, but variations on the same routine. And whatever happened to this dude? Remember how big this guy was? And somebody had a clip of him talking about how he just had this dumb formula where it was like, do you want to understand my routine? All I do is take everybody else's routine and then make it Mexican, right? We should do a stream where we just make fun of comedians, like the top comedians and like whatever, what's supposed to be comedy. Because I was watching some videos critiquing stand-ups. And by the way, everybody know, you guys know I can't stand stand-up. If I was to do stand-up, I would troll it, which is what I used to do. Like, I've done stand-up quite a few times, right? So the last time I did stand-up was probably 2000. I'd say I've done stand-up in a club setting 15 times in my life. And the last time I did stand-up was probably 2006. There was a variety club open mic night. I did it back in 2006 at it wasn't Nashville. It was a town near her that's a lot bigger than where I'm at. But so in honor to, because I already at that time, I couldn't stand stand-up comedy. Because when you go to the comedy clubs, it would be like, everybody was just completely disgusting. Like, not just disgusting acts, but the people are disgusting. There was a girl at the Nashville, like, open mic nights, and her whole routine was like Miss Minnie Pearl, but X-rated Minnie Pearl. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, just the worst. There was this nasty, ratty biker dude who told vagina jokes that he heard in jail. One of the people became famous that I used to heckle. I apologized to him when he became famous because I was trying to buddy up and get him to come on the show, but he wouldn't do it. But by the way, like, my audience is like 10 times bigger than his now. So, joke's on you, dude. I'm just joking. But so Keith Alberstadt used to do stand up, and I would go to the same club when Keith was doing open mic night. And he got mad because I would heckle him because he would wear a Pearl Jam hat. And I was always messing with him, heckling him just to mess with him. Good-natured heckling, right? But he didn't like it at the time. And he was like, dude, why are you being such a dick, man? It's just a Pearl Jam hat. I think I was just singing Eddie Vedder songs when he was trying to try out his routine. But anyway, he actually became a fairly well-known touring stand-up. Like, he's done Letterman and all that stuff many, many times. But aside from Keith, who did become successful, like, the open mic nights were just unbearable. And I remember thinking, like, because they would always be like, oh, if you want to do comedy, like, you gotta earn your keep. You gotta play the clubs. You gotta do the hard time, right? Like, do the hard time. And it was like, so I have to put up with the worst, disgusting people and hearing the worst routines. And if you've been to, like, open mic night, for whatever reason, people think that the only thing that's funny is the most disgusting thing that you can think of. So it will be all PEDO jokes, right? all dead baby jokes. It was just like, this is unbearable. Who could even listen to this? And that's why I've hated stand-up comedy since doing open mic nights back in 2000. The last time I did that. Well, I was going to tell you the routine I did. I thought it would be funny. It was like a tribute to Andy Kaufman, where basically all I did was take Karl Rove's biography, because everybody in there was like anti-Bush and they loved Obama and all this stuff. It was right around the time Obama was getting elected. So I thought it'd be funny to bring, for my stand-up routine, to bring Karl Rove's biography and read from it. And that was it. Like the whole routine. Because all I wanted to do was to troll the audience, because it was like it was at an art it was a bunch of art hoes, basically. I was like, no, man, this audience, they ain't gonna like my shit anyway. So I might as well just troll them. And that clip used to be on my YouTube or on my Facebook page. It might still be buried in the archives of Facebook. I don't know. But yeah, so basically my whole routine was to read Karl Rove. And I just read from the biography. And at first people start laughing, and then they kind of sort of get weirded out. But you just keep doing it, and it gets really weird. And it's like, wait, is this performance art? But anyway, I thought that was pretty funny to just troll them. Similar to the trolling that Sam did when he has done his few instances of stand-up, which I'm sure you guys have seen. But if you keep with it, it'll really mess with people, and they'll be like, what? But if you don't know, that's a tribute to when Andy Kaufman, he did this routine where he would go out and he just read The Great Gatsby. And he would just read The Great Gatsby like line after line after line after line. And he did this when he was on tour in colleges. And at first, so like the first minute, people like start laughing and they think it's funny. And they think that you're going to stop, right? But he just kept doing it. So he kept going and kept going. And then he got to a point where like the whole crowd was just furiously booing after 10 minutes of just reading The Great Gatsby line by line. And so finally he's like, okay. And he stops. And then everybody's like, okay, we'll give you another chance. And then he rolls out a record player, and it's a record of him reading The Great Gatsby, and he just lets it play for the rest of the show. That's pretty funny. That's actually really funny, right? So I thought I would piss off, like I give a shit about Karl Rove, dude, right? Can't stand that dude. But I did think that was funny to just read Karl Rove's biography to a bunch of shit libs, who, by the way, are just as bad as Karl Rove. But all of these people, this whole domain is bizarre, because you start to realize that like most of this domain is fake. Like these people take everybody else's routines and tweak them. I'm not saying everybody. There are a few genuinely really funny stand-ups, and there's people that are good and actually funny people. But a lot of these people are just trying to be famous or just trying to do different things, and they think it's like a formula. And I was listening to Sam Hyde was critiquing a lot of these comedians, and it's really similar to the critique I did of the women comedians. I got to find that video. I've still got it somewhere, but I had to take it off of YouTube. I could put it on Rockfin, but it's pretty funny because we just went through these different female comedians' routines and how just garbage they were, and they're all the same. It's like they'll take the same 5-6 topics and just tweak it a little bit. And now it's all just a formula of people saying the same stuff. I wish I could find. Let's find that Sam video, because he covered it good. He pretty much nailed it. Not his stand-up, but the new video on New Pill where he's talking about, I think it's on my community page. You'll see what I mean. This is it. Yeah, I mean, not only is stand-up dead, but like sketch comedy is pretty much dead too, right?
Kid total.
I've always preferred that to By the way, I helped set that interview up. I can believe Sam did that. I didn't think he would do Sam Tripoli's show, but he did. But I mean, stand-up is pretty much just social engineering now. That's why I don't like it anymore, right? And I mean, I get why people like George Carlin and Bill Hicks, but I don't actually think George Carlin and Bill Hicks are that funny. I mean, yeah, they talked about conspiracy stuff, and that's neat. And I remember Bill Hicks making me laugh once, but is Bill Hicks really that funny? I mean, I'm not trying to insult people. It's okay if you like him. And I mean, is George Carlin actually that funny? I don't actually think he's that funny, but this whole world of this, all of this stuff is just a bunch of nihilistic, gross weirdos. Not everybody in stand-up, but a lot of them. The famous ones, basically, right?
I know that I will never be on TV ever again.
Political correctness ruined comedy.
Yeah. Here's the Jim Carrey family reunion. All the actors, they do terrible impersonations, and then Jim Carrey just looks like miserable.
Oh, so I'm the difficult one?
What a freak show.
So one thing that's interesting about the philosophy of comedy is a good question. Does what's funny actually change over time? Or are we realizing that shit that was put in our face actually just wasn't funny? Right? Like Robin Williams just spurging out for like an hour. Like just talking about peepees in different voices. Random, but they don't even make any sense, right? Like I do that kind of. Like I spurg out and do crazy voices and stream of conscious or whatever. But Robin Williams is pretty cringe when you watch him do it, right? Like, only boomers think that's funny. But is it actually funny? Or, so what do you guys think? Do you think that what's funny changes over time? Or is it not funny, but the whole system said, funny man, and then everybody's like, yes, funny, he is funny. Like some kind of mind control thing, right? What do you think?
The stamp of approval, really, that you get with mainstream success. Authoritativeness, Jimmy Kimmel has over indie comedians.
I feel like there's a lot of good stuff back before racial tension was so high.
Norm Macdonald going to the YouTube Awards. Have you seen that? Norm Macdonald is sitting there and just being like completely rude and dismissive.
Oh, Saturday Night Live made you guys a big hit?
We had a small internet phone.
Oh, so the computer doesn't really work to make it a big hit?
Now people follow the stand-up comedians like they're rock bands or something.
Right.
My theory is that it's based on the fact that light-skinned blacks are smarter than dark-skinned blacks.
You couldn't even think that thought today.
Everything looks bad, man. All the people on SNL, there's nothing funny being made.
Well, SNL is a great litmus test for the state of comedy and the state of culture.
Yeah. Like my problem with it isn't even so much like it's all like anti-Trump bashing.
It's the same thing.
Generic.
And it is the dream of arguably everybody in this room before it got full toilet.
Yeah. It's still an institution. It can still be revived.
No, it can't.
I would want to be on SNL to try to incite Lorne Michaels to fist fight me.
I want to talk to you about the stand-up comedy. I don't know. I just hate stand-up comedy because there's this thing today where it's like such a big circle jerk with all the stand-up comedians. It's become like...
I forgot. Tech Wars nailed it too in this interview.
Very self-congratulatory. They're like very like sophists, like where they're up there preaching their political ideas.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like stand-up comedy now is a social justice preaching. Remember how the revolutionaries in the French Revolution that we were talking about from Tristan's stream, that they were the journalists. And it's still to a degree that now, but it's also stand-up comedians. Like we're supposed to get our ethics and our morals from the funny people. And they're mostly like weird, just nihilistic, bald, creepy people, right? And they're not funny. Like 90% of them aren't funny. And by the way, you also are supposed to accept all women comedians now, by the way. They're very funny, right? Very funny.
They're talking about themselves and their day.
And it's like, now it's like, all the talk shows, it's like, we're going to have Adam Sandler back and then we're going to circle jerk about how Adam Sandler is a comedic legend.
I like how specifically you break down comedians when they say, as you do.
This is what I was talking about, right? So Sam noticed this, which is a really good insight, that it's like everybody's turning into this same. So you do like an NPC comedian routine. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the ultimate NPC comedian routine, and it'll just be a bunch of these pat hack things, and then you have these phrases as you do, right?
Like you do, as one does. It's just like little linguistic like word tracks that people.
So I'm single,
but that's like a very common, and it's such an oddly specific combination of words. The point is that the specificity of it makes it obvious how derivative all the it is, because they're all just watching each other.
Right.
I feel like if you like stand-up comedy, like,
and then now with the internet, everybody will get their stuff picked apart. And everybody will know and figure out when you're stealing people's. It's just baffling to me that people would steal routines, which they all do. Like all the top comedians steal everybody else's routines, or they go back to like 90s stand up to steal it. But the stuff from 90s is not funny anymore. So you're stealing things that aren't funny anymore. And everybody can go find the routines, and you get called out. It's bizarre. It's like, wow.
you should like feel bad about yourself. Like someone should come up on the stage and like make you feel like for like enjoying that experience.
You know, I would agree. There's nobody contemporary that I can stomach watching. That you know who Bert Kreischer is?
No.
Why is it a shtick? I'm Bert Kreischer. We were at this frat house.
Bert Kreischer sucked.
Like he was vibing with some J vibes right there. That sounds like me.
You just don't like that because you're not into frat humor.
He's like the legendary party guy who was at, his whole thing is
designed to piss people off, and I think that has limited appeal.
Anyway, that's the basic point I was trying to get at, was that like you can even tell that in the little catchphrases and mannerisms and weird things that are said that they're all watching the other comedians. I thought that was a really interesting insight, and just sort of tweaking and changing minor things from other people that aren't funny. Like at least steal from somebody funny. If you're going to do that, it doesn't make any sense. Forgot what I was going to go to here, but so yeah. And by the way, we've done talks a long time ago on understanding this from the sort of geopolitical perspective, in terms of like the arts and academia and all these things being co-opted. Don't forget weaponizing anthropology, which is insightful into the point I'm making. This is a normie academic, David Price, who talks about how the CIA got this fascination in the last 100 years with studying and mastering cultures. So if you want to understand how culture creation works, it helps to understand why the CIA, for example, co-opted and used so many anthropologists. And they would use them as spies and also to master cultures. Now, if you've studied hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cultures and mastered them at a PhD level to the nth degree, don't you think that the degenerates that run our whole society, these Alfred Kinsey mad scientist creepers, don't you think they would utilize this as a technology? Again, it's not a foreign government that's subverting primarily the West. It's the people who run the West that are subverting the West. Can you people not figure this out? Like, it doesn't require a high IQ to figure this out. It's pretty obvious. Why is Biden doing all Biden's incompetent. He's so incompetent. He's not incompetent. He is a perfect psyop weapon. He himself is the weapon. He is a genius weapon. I mean, to put Biden as the lightning rod, I mean, is it not obvious that he doesn't run the country? I mean, that guy as the head of the country should be obvious that he doesn't run the country. The Democrats are incompetent. They're not. They're run by high-minded technocratic geniuses who want to destroy the existing society. Now you see why all of this is so useful when it's weaponized. So my vagina was talking to me this morning, and it said, time to eat chocolate. And I woke up and my boyfriend was laying there, and what's the deal with boners in the morning? And by the way, he left the toilet seat up. And I was driving to work and my mom called. Moms. It's like every female comedian's routine has been the exact same since the 1980s. Like, go watch female comedians in the 1980s, then watch female comedians in the 1990s, then watch them now. And the routines are all the same. They just tweak a little bit. But they're still just talking about periods, boyfriends, sex, moms, chocolates, and pets. That's it. As you do. Right. And I mean, it was almost like 7 years ago that I did that live stream where we were watching all the women comedians. And I was watching a couple women comedians recently. I don't even remember the names. They're all blend together into the same women's body. Women's bodies. Like, they all blend together. We were watching them yesterday. Remember that show, Getting Dug with High? And I was like, whatever happened to that show? Remember that? And I was noticing that he had dozens and dozens and dozens of shows with stand-up comedians. And a lot of them were these women comedians. I was like, all right, let's go watch a bunch of these women comedian stand-up routines. I'm not kidding, man. They were all like the same 7 to 10 topics, man. It's kind of creepy. Like, is there one weird, creepy person writing the same, like giving the orders for the women comedians to say this? If you remember, I mean, I know that sounds crazy. That's probably not the case, but remember the newscasters, right? Remember all these?
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley. And I'm...
No one should ever forget these videos. They're like the most amazing, viral, instructive videos of all time. Never forget these. And never stop sharing these, because these really prove everything. I'm just sitting here wondering, like, I mean, I know it doesn't really exist, but I mean, is it like this? Like, do they just send out memos for the female comedians to talk about this and do the same routine? Is it like this?
Our greatest response.
It's like Ellen is like the Illuminati queen of the bad comedians, and she just sends out a memo to them all.
Responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish
Hi, I'm
the
Fox
same
San
fake...
Antonio's Jessica Headley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities.
I had it on the wrong freaking screen. My bad. So here we go.
Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish the same...
I remember when... So I was doing podcasts talking about this... Some of the first blog posts I had were about this and the psyops people that are embedded at local news stations. People thought that was so crazy. Like, they thought that was complete schizo level stuff, right? That's crazy, dude. There's no psyops office. And I'm like, there's Pentagon newscasts of that thing. People thought that was so crazy, dude. And I would share the crap out of that video. I had it on multiple blogs, websites, and I started realizing that people are scared of this because it is kind of scary. Like, this is straight up, they live, dude. They live is real. We live in a they live world, right?
Let's see if we can find that old video. It's probably scrubbed, but. I remember last time I had to find this. It was way, way, way down. But it's how they're embedded at local news. Is it this one? No. Crap. I will never find it. But they're embedded at local news stations, basically. Doing and running psyops. If you really find a search, you could probably find it. But I mean, look at
Fake stories without checking.
I think this video alone, if this doesn't wake someone up, then, I mean, might as well move on. They're not going to wake up.
Facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly.
Welcome to the dystopia. You are live in a real-time reality TV dystopia, and if you can't see it from that, then there's nothing that will help you. Goodbye. There's no hope for you. Goodbye. Let's get these super chats. By the way, you can support the show with the super chat function. And we got 2 days ago, I missed one. I saw a good intro. Wait, I see good irony. He who loses life must gain it, and bad irony, you must lose your humanity to save humanity in the world. What is the difference between the paradox and contradictions in a non-dualist ancient text and the contradictions in Hegel? What is the difference between the contradictions in a non-dualist text and the contradictions in Hegel? I'm lost. I'm sorry. Hegel is a mind virus. I mean, Hegel thinks that logic is reality itself. The real is the rational is the real. And he believes everything is in process. It's process philosophy. Everything's evolving towards all of reality being self-conscious and being thought itself. So it's an extremely idealist process philosophy. And I mean, that shares some similarities with Eastern philosophy, but I don't really see. I mean, they're basically just two different systems, so I don't see the parallel there. I think they would be similar in the sense of like monistic tendencies. Vibranium $5 for the Jenko jeans and the No Fear T-shirt fund. Also, don't forget my trademark Ed Hardy gear and my Massimo gear and my Big Johnson T-shirts. Rax $5. God bless you. Well, thank you so much, Rax. God bless you. Please hit like and share. By the way, guys. A lot of y'all out there working retail and you're wondering, how can I move up in the world? I am a weak wage slave retail man. Well, one thing that you can do is to challenge your boss to a duel. If you win, you will probably take his job. One thing you could do is take chalk. And that's really what I want to get you to do, right? Show sponsor, chalk.com, the best supplements out there. You want to stop being a wage slave, man? Well, you need to be thinking clearly. You need to get some gumption, some stick-to-itiveness, assholes and elbows, as the boomers say. Well, how do you get that? Because we live in a culture where we are dumbed down and lazy and tired from toxic diets. Well, first thing to do is change your diet, boy. And I prefer, a low-carb keto carnivore diet. That's what works for me. But to supplement that diet also with chalk.com, they have the nutrients that we don't have in our present diet. So if you want to recover that lost mojo, you want to stop being a wage boy, first thing you do, number one, challenge your boss to a duel. Challenge him to a CDU competition. You win either one, you probably take his job. You're the new alpha, the new chief on the block. You're more than just
a wage cut. Well, the key element that you don't have in that equation, why you don't have the gumption, first of all, to challenge your boss or perhaps the CEO to a duel, is because you don't have chalk. You're missing that X factor, not the demon that possesses the BTK killer, but the X factor that you need, which is the minerals and the adaptogens that we aren't getting in our nutrient deficient diets. So meat fat, as you guys know, has most of the nutrients that we need, but also you can supplement. If you're a girl, they have Irish moss. Jamie is loving the Irish moss. She's been taking it for weeks. There's also the Shilajit. She alternates between Irish moss and Shilajit. There's also, for dudes, there is the Tomcat. You don't need me to tell you what Tomcat Long Jack does. You can use your dirty minds to figure out how that helps you. But there's also ashwagandha for mental clarity. There's also Action 2.0. You just want to get that boost. I'm not talking about the boost that your grandma drinks. I'm talking about that boost in the gym. I'm talking about that boost. Jamie's in there laughing because she was basically raised on Boost. They didn't have a lot of money. She had to drink a lot of Boost over the years. What even is Boost? It's just grandma juice, right? Like, what's in grandma juice? I mean, my grandmother had Boost. There's no telling what's in. They probably trying to kill the Dr. Kevorkian juice. That's what's in there. Get rid of the old people through drinking Boost. What's in Boost? It's just liquid calcium? That sounds nasty. A lot of grandmothers out there drinking Boost need to be taking chalk. Liquid calcium. Sounds like science class. Your drinks and your food should not sound like science class, right? Like chemistry class that's not what lunch is. Okay? Lunch, breakfast, dinner, you don't need a lab coat to know recipes. Okay? So first of all, get rid of that junk. Science is fake and gray right away. Racks. Did I do racks? Yes, racks. Would you recommend a book just for $5? Would you recommend a book on, or a source, the canon of scripture, how it was put together? Either F.F. Bruce's book, Canon of Scripture, or Lee McDonald's Formation of the Canon are both good books for that. And they're Protestants that will admit the role of tradition. So I find those to be very useful. Your opinion, $5. Can you comment on the recent Supreme Court thing? In my view, it was just leaked to try to cause outrage. So I don't really put a whole lot of stock or importance in the fact that it was leaked. So that's why I haven't really commented on it. They were leaked, I think, to cause outrage, to get people to go butt wild. That's why. Born to Date, $20, and says nothing. The Sounds of Silence over there from Born Today. But thank you so much for that super chat there. Now, if you would, guys, remember, hit like and share. Hopefully we had a lot of fun. Met Gala, I don't even know what it is, but I saw all I need to see. Don't care. Completely dumb. And I will not be going back to the Met Gala. They invite me every year. Amazing. They would invite a bigot such as myself, a Chad nerd such as myself. And I think this year I'm just going to tell them no. I will not be attending your party. And I will not be RSVPing. I will not be ASAPing. What else? Guess what, guys? Good news. Ooh, got a big show Sunday. Be going on a big show Sunday. Woo, big show. Woo! Damn. Your boy Eddie Bravo reached out. Put me in a mental headlock. I was like, what? Eddie Bravo. Gonna be doing a show with Eddie Bravo Sunday. I'm pumped up. He wants to talk about Hollywood, Laurel Canyon. So guys, get ready for that. It's going to be hype. It's going to be fun. We got a lot of hot things cooking, some other fancy things cooking. Talked to a couple people. Might have a couple things with the things. Might have a couple things in the works. Hey. But, on those other things, we have to wait and see. Hopefully it'll all come about. It'll all fall into place. Hopefully. Remember, by the way, guys, when you go over to Chalk, use the promo code J50 to get 50% off, but also you can set up the recurring to get those awesome organic supplements over at chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. You can also do J53 Life, J53 Life, J53 Life, LIFE for the slow boys that can't spell. Life. Don't have a Y in it. LYFE. No, LIFE. Slow boy. I know most of this audience is you start taking that chalk, you're going to be a fast boy. This audience is all fast boys when they're on that chalk. Also, chalk lit. Time to get lit, boy. Time to get lit like fire. How? With chalk lit. The tastiest superfood additive to your daily routine. Perhaps you take juices, smoothies, and such things in the morning. Perhaps you don't. Perhaps you intravenously take things. Who knows? I don't know how you do it. However you do it, you need to be adding some of this lit, which does literally taste like chocolate. Hence, chalk lit. They are our show sponsor. We love them. They're an awesome red pill based company. Get on over to chalk.com right now. Use that promo code. We didn't sell many watches. I mean, well, not watches, wallets. Remember that wallet sponsor? It was I still use that badass wallet, but there's only about 3 of y'all that said they wanted a cool wallet. But that's okay. You don't want to you don't want to have a stylish wallet. That's up to you. You do have that freedom. It's a free country. If you would, hit like and share. We already got 335 likes. Thank you so much. That's a dedicated core group of Chad nerds. What's a Chad nerd? My audience of high IQ fast boys and a couple girls. It's like 98% guys and like 2 girls there. That's what a fast boy is, my audience. So, hey, big shows coming up, baby. Get ready. Get ready for Jay Dyer and Eddie Bravo. What? Super soy face right there. What? And I'm hesitant to talk about it because I don't know. I'm worried if I talk about it, it'll jinx it, and it won't happen. But I'm there might be some things on the road. If y'all want to come out on the road, there might be some things on the road. I can't talk about it. I'm gonna jinx it. I gotta stop. I'm gonna jinx it. Gotta stop. What is your favorite Norm Macdonald joke? I didn't realize until I listened to Bay's Lit Analyzer and Tristan stream that a lot of Norm Macdonald's jokes, he was referring to Dostoevsky stuff. I knew that he was a big Dostoevsky fan because when he was starting, do you remember when he started his Lit group and he was doing it on Twitter? I read a couple of the books along with his reading group, and we had a brief text exchange. There was one point where I did get Norm to tweet back and forth, if I recall, and that was back when it was right when Norm Macdonald had got on Twitter and he was doing his Lit group. And I asked him a question or something to do with Lit. It might have been about Dostoevsky. It might have been about I can't remember what it was. It was something like that. It was a Lit question. And I got like, a one tweet reply. But that was pretty cool though. So I'm pretty sure that happened. Also got into a Twitter fight. The first time I got on Twitter, I got into a Twitter fight with Liz Winstead. That's what prompted me making fun of the women comedians, by the way, was that she tried to roast me and actually roasted her, and she blocked me. So I was like, okay, I like this. Yes, I Twitter. It used to be on my old blog. I had it up. It might not be there anymore. But I got into a Twitter roasting battle with Liz Winstead. And I roasted her good enough that she blocked me. So I'll take the W for that battle. But hey, if we do get this thing that's happening on the road to go through, definitely going to keep you guys in the loop. I want you guys to come out and hang out it'll be a fun time if that happens. So let's hope it does. Everybody have a good night. Did I miss one? I'm sorry. Rachel Wilson, $5. I'm stoked to see you and Eddie Bravo. Well, hey, thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll definitely get into that Laurel Canyon scene. I was telling him, and I've been telling Sam Tripoli for a long time, like, you got to read this book, dude. The Laurel Canyon stuff is like right up your alley. And we did one podcast with Sam on Temple Hat where we got pretty deep into the Laurel Canyon scene. We didn't do one thing on that, but I mean, hey, that's perfect for, I think Eddie Bravo will really dig that, right? Which, if you haven't heard, it's Dave McGowan's book, Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. It's a conspiracy classic. Absolutely 100% must read. By the way, if you're looking for some other conspiracy classics, I mean, I did basically what Dave did for music, I did for Hollywood, right? So if you like Dave's book, Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon, mine is the same thing for Hollywood. So get on over there to the website, jaysonhouses.com. In the shop, you do get signed copies. Yes, I get asked this every day. All the copies from my website are signed, all of them. That's why you would get it from my website and not from Jeffrey Bezos, right? Because he's over there forging my signature, trying to act like he's me. Got to get it from